This one was really good tonight. I'm sure you guys already heard about the live feeds and so forth. Let's talk about Hailey. The girl is definitely delusional. Guess what, girl? Now you can truthfully say you're having a bad week. Yes, you're having a bad week now. Finally. Because before, you had it easy. You were doing nothing but making more enemies for yourself. Thus, the reason why you're in the position where you are now. You can't go spilling off to people talking about you've been having a rough time throughout and haven't touched the block. Are you crazy? Well, now you're touching the block and you are officially having a bad week. Yes, you are. And let's not talk about her being a mean girl. Lala really hit the nail on the head. She is definitely being a mean girl. I mean, just by saying that, to me, saying that she's has had a bad week from day one, you know, that's mean girl, because you have all these people going up on the block, all these people going home, having to stress throughout their game, and you're easily floating by, and you got the audacity to say you're having a bad day or a bad week? Absolutely not. That's a quick way to get on somebody's nerve, and you've gotten on a lot of people's nerves. I've heard so many people in the house that said she's losing her mind. Who was it? I know, of course, we can't forget Melody because she's very vocal about it. I've heard I've heard Mallory say it. And I've heard a guy say it. I can't remember which guy it was. I'm sure you guys know. Leave it in a comment for me. Remind me, please. Another thing that makes her a mean girl, I mean, true enough, whatever Angela gets, I'm sure she deserves it, because the girl is just out there. And I want to say about Angela, look who has crazy eyes now. She want to talk about Matt with crazy eyes. Look who has crazy eyes now. Did you see her? But I was also noticing Hailey. The girl had that evil smirk and grinning on her face as Angela was crying. You never know when the girl is sincere, though. It may have been crocodile tears. I do think she genuinely was regretful of her actions. But be that as it may, because people don't know, because you have in the past cried crocodile tears, it's understandable if people do not want to take your tears at face values, because they can't trust it, right? Next, we can look at Chuck. I thought he would be one I would like. You know, the guns and all that. But he actually is just as delusional as Hailey. Let me tell you why. He made a comment. He stated that, let me refer to my notes, pardon me. Yeah, he said that Kamu's game disgust him. How could you possibly say somebody's game disgusts you just because their game that they came to play for $750,000 doesn't help you progress in the game? Newsflash, every person in that house have to individually put in the work to further their own game. You can't expect Kamu to further your game for you. That's just not how the game goes, because ultimately each of you are in there to win that money for yourself and your family, not for the other people. Even though you have an alliance, ultimately you have to look out for your own game life, your life in that game. And Kamu is doing an excellent job in my opinion, but I'll say a little bit more on that later. I'm on Chuck right now because him and Hailey is just a mess. A complete mess, I might add. Him and Hailey just does not make sense. I mean, in one breath, they're saying, hey, well, I shouldn't say they, but I can, because what's his name? Chuck later on was on films agreeing with what Hailey was telling Kamu. And so in one breath, they're telling Kamu, hey, what we'll do is we'll sacrifice our game. If we happen to win the power of veto, we'll leave the noms the same so that you won't be the renom. Child, please. Kamu had to have known that was just a ruse, because if that were so, what they said next, later on in the game, just defeated the purpose. Because when Kamu won the power of veto, they expected him to use the power of veto on them at all cost. I mean, Kamu went to them with the right information, letting them know, if I use this power of veto on either one of you, on any one of the three of you on the block, that will be my game, because I will be going against the whole house, because everybody wants the noms to stay the same. So if he was to use it, if he didn't win head of household next, Kamu was going to be #1 target. And I don't blame him. I'm not putting myself in that predicament. Right? Would you? I know I wouldn't. And despite that situation, Hailey did have a really good point, though. And that point is, what is the point of having an alliance if you can't depend on that alliance in your time of need? If they're in a position to help. And Kamu was in a position to help. But news flash, the only way that can successfully happen is if all parties of that alliance is true or are true to that alliance. Kamu evidently wasn't true to the alliance, and you can't fault him, because that's his gameplay. It's about what you individually think is best for your game. And if sticking to that three-person alliance isn't best for his game, and it makes a whole lot of sense to me how Kamu is thinking, because it's just the two of them appears to be two against the whole house. It's the same song and dance that everybody is singing. Hailey, we want Hailey out. And then Chuck is second on the list for everybody. So Kamu is smart in trying to distance himself from Chuck Lee, I should say. Speaking of Kamu, kudos, my brother, for winning veto. Good job. As well as for playing a good game thus far. I mean, the man is positioning himself well in the house, don't you think? The man is sitting, you know, I like to say it, he's sitting pretty in the game right now. He's sitting good with the so-called icons. The Angevins, I'd like to call them, for D, Angela, and Devins. He's also good with Taylor, Yash, and Lala. I want to say he's good with Barrett, but I'm not sure. I mean, there are part of that, an alliance together, but that particular alliance did erupt. So it doesn't make sense to put that one in. So not really on good grounds with Barrett, but he's not on bad grounds with him either, because there's no bad blood there, right? But when you think about the icons, and with Taylor, Yaya, Lala, I always call her Yaya, Taylor, Lala, and Yash, that's pretty much over half the house that's left, because we have, I think it's 13, a total of 13 people left, right? You got Devins, Dee, Angela, Kamu himself. You got Barrett, who's standing almost alone. You have Taylor, Lala, and Yash. And then you have the others, which is Mallory, Melody, and Drew. That's 11. Am I counting right? Oh yeah, 11. And then you have Hailey and Chuck. But we're not kind of counting them. I mean, we have to count one of them. But with the one being counted, they're like out on an island by themselves, right? So he's in good with over half the house. So he's sitting pretty in my book. And of course, he doesn't want to rest and act like he is, because that's when things go crazy and rocky for you, when you get overconfident again. In the Big Brother house, you have to be constantly on guard, constantly playing. Your next couple of moves need to be already played out in your head, and you need to be working on following through with those plans as well, making sure that those things take place. And when I think about that half that he's not good with, that's Mallory, Melody, Barrett, Drew, and then either Hailey or Chuck. Out of those people, there's no real threat. I think out of the 5, Mallory is the one that he would want to try and have on his side. So maybe he should try and make some type of a, connection with Mallory, to be good with Mallory individually, because the rest of them doesn't matter. And I do believe that Mallory, based on her own game, just to further herself, she may be inclined to listen to something that Kamu may have to say to her about gameplay. But the rest of them, they're like semi-good, and unless you're talking about Melody, who hasn't proved herself at all. I don't want to say useless, but what has she done? I haven't seen anything. I mean, she talked a somewhat type of gameplay, but to me, the gameplay that she spoke wasn't all that great. I mean, they're not sitting in a great position, as a matter of fact. It's just basically the 3 of them. Mallory, Melody, and Drew. I mean, they do drag Barrett in there. That's 4, and Barrett just don't understand. He was always talking about being the lowest on the totem pole. You still are. Because Melody and Drew, close. Melody and Mallory, close. So in my opinion, Melody sits the best within that 4. Let's just say this is purely what ifs, because we know it's not going to happen. It would really shock me if it does. They may prove me wrong, but I don't know. Let's just say the 4 of them last, and they're the last 4 in the house, right? Because it could happen, really, because the other people could knock each other out, right? So if they wind up somehow being within the last 5, Melody would be sitting pretty with the 4 of them, because she had, out of the four of them, she has Mallory as a final 2. She has Drew as a final 2. So actually, what's his name? Barrett is on the bottom of the list. So he should be worried. And I do think that, going back to Kamu, he is sitting really pretty the way he did the thing, because, and I love the gameplay. I love the reasoning, the reason for him distancing himself from Hailey and Chuck. If you were speaking or dealing with some reasonable people other than Chuck and Hailey, maybe they would have understood, because I mean, even though you guys were part of an alliance, he felt like he was stabbed in the back because the votes didn't line up the way it was supposed to line up, right? And it's the same with Chuck, but Chuck is more about him and Hailey, and that's it. So there's nothing to worry about there. But as far as Kamu is concerned, I think that was a great reason for him to decide to distance himself. He had a much better reason, and he handled it in a better way than what Melody did, as well as Lyric did in the past. And that's why Melody is where she is and Lyric is out the door. because they didn't handle it the right way. And then when we think about the reason that he came up with to tell Hailey and Chuck, whom I like to call Chuckley, telling them why he can't use the power of veto on them. They should have been able to understand that, because it makes a whole lot of sense. Even though the three of them had their final three thing, they were part of a bigger alliance, which was the five, Red Corner. So why would you want any of your alliance member to be put on the block? They've already proven that they didn't want him to be a renom. So why would you want Devon's or Dee to be a renom? So he was guessing that that would be a good decision, right? To go ahead and say, well, Lala told me if I use the power of veto, then they'll put someone else I'm aligned with that I really like into the mix as a renom. And then he threw out Devon's name. So I thought that was really smart on his part to do that. I do want to comment on the newbies. I don't understand them. Here we have three supposed icons, never touching the block, sitting pretty in the house. Their names are not really coming up like talking about it. The newbies are just letting that go. When are they going to wake up? When are they going to realize that they're picking themselves off and allowing Dee, Devons, and Angela to just breeze on through and potentially make it to the final four? Wake up, people. Make moves. Now, in Taylor's defense, I know she has her eyes on the prize. So she's made mention of those being a target. So she's working her way to that. But you got to pick up the pace, man. They need to hurry up and flush out the power so that they can get them out of the way. And then you can successfully get rid of these people. If you keep on waiting, it's going to be too late. You're not going to have numbers, per se. And that does take me back to Dee, one of the errors of Dee. She made a comment saying that they don't need the rest of the people from the other alliances. In what world? It's just the three of you, Devons, Dee, and Angela. If you don't have, that's not the numbers. There are still 13 people in the house. So how do you think you're going to get by if you only have you and the other two? If two of you get put up on the block, better yet, if all three of you get put on the block, who do you have? No one. So you best try to secure and protect the alliances that you've made for a little bit longer at least. Even though Dee has been playing an okay game, did phenomenal to me in her head of household, she is making some errors, you know. That's one of them, what I just mentioned. Thinking that they don't need anybody in the house now, that they can get rid of all the other alliance members that they had. No, you still need them. It's too early in the game to be talking about getting rid of your alliances. There is no need for them. Are you crazy? Girl, you better take that survivor's cap off and put on the big brother cap. Because trust me, you're going to need some more people on your side. At least for a few more weeks. And also another thing is, major thing, is revealing her power. I mean, she told it to Devons, which was bad in itself. Then you turn around and tell it to Kamu. And I understand why she told Kamu, because she's trying to appease him. She's trying to make him feel like, hey, I need this. I need to tell him this so he can trust me, even though I just stabbed him in the back by deceiving him, rather. That would be better, because she didn't really stab him in the back, since you just deceived him. But that was bad play, because at any moment, either one of those people could use that against you. I know she feels solid with Devons, but even with an error, because Devons already made such an error. He revealed something he wasn't supposed to reveal. True enough, he has the power himself and don't want his revealed, so maybe she might be safe with him. But with Kamu, she just does not know. That's some real good. I don't think I would have done that. I think that was bad, you know. You could have used something else. You could have revealed something else. to try and gain his trust back again. But I guess that was the best she can do at such short notice. He flabbergasted her. She was scrambling, trying to make right of something that Angela messed up by revealing that she was one of the votes to evict Lyric. But that was bad gameplay to me, to reveal you should never tell anybody your moves in the Big Brother house. You got to keep those things to yourself. Use them to your advantage, because if you don't, other people will use it for their advantage, and then it'll be your demise. Do you want to be put out of the house? So you may be sitting pretty now, but if you keep revealing things that you should not reveal, you won't be sitting pretty for long. And I guarantee you on that one. And I think I touched on it already. Kamu thinking or believing that Dee's power reveal is equivalent to trust is just outright ridiculous to me. When she revealed it, I did, of course, because I was shocked that she did it. But when she did it, the first thing came to my mind was, oh, she's just trying to appease him. She's trying to take his mind off of the fact that she did just deceive him. And Kamu should have seen right through that. But I don't know what these newbies' problems are, but they are very much too trusting in the so-called icons of the game. I don't get it. Just calling them icons, because they're calling them icons over and over and over again. And you would think calling them icons would help you to understand, these people gotta get up out of my house. But they are not picking up on that. And once again, I gotta say, when are you guys gonna wake up? They need to wake up and put them out of the house. Hopefully they do that sooner than later. Hopefully Taylor puts a fire underneath them and help them to see that they need to start moving, like absolutely now. Oh boy. And lastly, I know I said lastly already, but hey, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Angela has finally exploded. And believe you me, it was much worse in the live feeds. This girl is crazy. She is ridiculous, man. Granted, Paprika doesn't agree with me, but I kind of understood why she blew up. Number one, with her even initially telling Hailey about her being the one who voted to evict Lyric. I understand that too. Because think about it. The girl was already feeling guilty, right? The woman. And then when they were in the household room and found out that Yaya was trying to coerce tell what's-her-face, D, that she need to let Kamu knew. I know for me, it would have lit a fire under me, because it's like, wait a minute. If it comes out that D was one of the votes, then it might come out that I am. And I have some connections that I need to protect. So it's much better if you come out and confess than to be found out. Because then you're looked at as a liar, as conniving. Yeah, you still get that. But people could show a little bit more remorse or be a little bit more forgiving. Or even if they're not initially, it doesn't last. They do come around because they realize you did come and let them know. You came to them and let them know. So it was a good thing that she went to Hailey and let Hailey know. And then we have when she blew up at the end. Come on now. We all know we don't want to be lied on. So with, what's her name? Hailey saying that she told her that D started it. True enough, she hinted at it. She didn't outright say it. In Paprika's defense, she didn't outright say it. She just told, like Hailey said, she did say that trust your gut, right? And that's really like saying, yeah, she did do it. I'm telling you to trust your gut, because that means she did do it, right? But she didn't. Now, what Hailey did was try to say that she outright told her that D was responsible for it. And D did not do it. And with her own words, Hailey's own words, she knew she was being deceptive because she knew the girl did not tell her that outright. But like Paprika said, it was the same thing, but it was implied when she told her, trust your gut. Otherwise, you would have said, no, nobody told me. It's me. I'm just telling you what my vote is. If you didn't want to throw somebody under the bus, that's what you would have done. Oh, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I did. I did vote that way. And I know there were some other people, but that's for them to come to you and tell. I don't have anything to do with that. I can only come and tell my truth. It was eating me alive because I really like you and I like the bond that we made, and I didn't want to mess that up any worse than what I have already done by doing so. And I know you're going to be mad. This is all the things that she should have been saying. But that's it in a nutshell. I knew she was going to blow eventually, and I don't think that's the end of it. If she stays in the house longer, trust me, there will be another blow, and it will be worse than the one we just saw, okay? And next time, I'll make sure I capture it for you guys, if I catch it in time. Because I do record it, even when I'm not looking at it sometimes. But I get so frustrated because a lot of times they have the rabbits and the cats and the dogs on. I don't want to see no cats. I know you guys like cats. But I don't want to see no cats. And I don't want to see anything. I just want to see the live feeds. And they need to keep it on. That's why people pay for Paramount, so that they can see the live feeds. If somebody don't want to know, they just don't look at it. But for the people that look at it, they don't care. I don't care. So keep it on Paramount. Hopefully you guys see my video, my little old me, my little video. If you see it, keep the live feeds on and stop shutting it off. We can guess it anyway. We already figure it out when we see it. It's easy. So just leave it on so we can see it and stop wasting our time and let us get what we need to get. Okay? It would be much appreciated. Anyway, that's all I have, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And please, if you have any questions, any comments, don't hesitate to leave it in the comments section. And if you like this video, or even if you don't, please hit that subscribe button, because we do have so much more on our channel. And we will have much, much more. And if you don't like this one, I am absolutely sure you'll like some other videos. So hit that subscribe button, okay? Until next time, happy Big Brother viewing. Out.